Colin had a problem and a microphone to spare. Thomas took it up and so the podcast went to air. For weeks and months they trolled through every single DVD. They've unwrapped all the ones they can and now they're cellulose free. Now they're cellulose free.
Hello dear listener and welcome to Cellulose Free. My name is Colin and with me as always is my fellow film watcher, compadre and son, Thomas.
Hi, hello.
What have you been up to?
Not a lot.
Good. Let's move on then.
The consumers have continued to bite people, and Chorby Soul in particular, now up in the 180-ish range of consumer attacks.
Right. I thought it was sharks.
They're called consumers in the game.
Jolly good.
There's salmon.
For those dear listeners who have no idea what we're talking about, neither do I.
There's glitter weather now, which gives gifts to people.
So, do you need a glitter umbrella?
No. Usually the gifts are good.
Right. Okay.
We don't know if the glitter affects the filthiness stat on any of the stadiums yet.
Right. Okay.
Oh, and Chorby Soul keeps causing teams he's on to hit rock bottom and start to break the gates to wherever the crabs went at the end of season 10.
Good.
So this will surely have no consequences.
Don't call me Shirley.
And that's about it, I think.
Right. Me, I donated blood, plasma, on Monday, and today I got a message from my doctor saying that my vaccination is in, so I'm ready to be vaccinated.
Right.
For flu.
Right.
Yes, you got your hopes up there that I would be jabbed with a COVID vaccination.
You in phase 1B? What?
One could dream, couldn't one? Yes. Australia may well have dodged a bullet as far as rampantness in other countries that the COVID-19 has swept through. Yes, so we have been lucky in that respect. We have had numerous fatalities, but per population very, very low. On the flip side, we really haven't got our act together, even though we were under the impression that we had, or given the impression that we were had by certain government officials high up, that vaccinations would be well and truly underway by now. Well, they sort of are, but
target was what, October, and we're not going to be done for ages.
Yes, and end of March, supposedly 4 million vaccinations were supposed to have been done by the end of March, and that was out by about 3.3 million.
Oh dear.
Yes, so who knows when the COVID vaccinations will eventually get round to little old us, but we still wait. Meanwhile, yes, on Friday I'm having my flu jab, so
we'll probably be fine.
Oh yeah,
here
we'll
in
probably
Tasmania.
be fine here in Tasmania, but it's all very well to say that, but there's this general feeling in the Tasmanian population that because we dodged the initial bullet very, very well, we'll be fine. But all it needs is for, yes,
this is true,
for borders to open and just and for irresponsibilities to occur, which are already happening as far as good practice is concerned here. Yeah.
I quote the ABC here. At our current pace of roughly 417,000 doses a week, we can expect to reach the 40 million doses needed to fully vaccinate Australia's adult population in late January 2023.
Which is appalling. Anyway, I do apologise for getting political here, but yes, that's the state of play. Let's just hope for some glitter weather to improve things a little.
Well, if you consider bats and leg rings and gloves, which are actually irons to solve things, I don't think it's going to help.
Right. I thought you said they were good things.
For baseball players.
Oh, okay. None of those sound like a umbrella would be much good to protect oneself from.
No,
either.
probably not.
No. What nonsense.
Speaking of
which, we have a film to watch. And we're on a bit of a roll here. So we have another Taika Waititi film. And what is that we're watching?
We are watching Hunt for the Wilderpeople.
And for our dear listener who has been under a log, living with the mushrooms, what is it all about?
Ricky is a defiant young city kid who finds himself on the run with his cantankerous foster uncle in the wild New Zealand bush. A national manhunt ensues, and the two are forced to put aside their differences and work together to survive in this hilarious and heartfelt adventure.
Okay, it is a light-hearted adventure, and it's a good film, and I'm quite looking forward to it.
As am I.
Yes. So, the disc is already in the machine, so there's no flipping to side Bs or anything like that. It's all ready to go. So we're going to watch it, and we'll catch you on the...
Turn to side B.
Roll! So what do you think?
It remains a very good film.
It really does. It's majestical. Truly majestical. And again, that really tight balance between being over the top, ridiculously over the top, and offensive. Yeah, it just... he nails it.
That he does.
Yes. Good. Okay.
At times, very believable. At other times, what?
Yeah. And again, very much get your mind at a certain point and then suddenly veer left and knock you for a six with an emotional punch type of deal. So
that social work has an outsized influence.
I'd be curious to look into Taika Waititi's past as to whether he has a history with social workers. I did notice yeah, it's one of those films that's really, really difficult to podcast straight after.
It is.
But I noticed in the credits that Ricky Baker had 3 stunt doubles and 2 body doubles.
Yep.
So, and yet I still think he got quite a workout out of it.
Yep.
I'm not sure how much of his physical presence was actually him and how much was padding, but I suspect there was a fair bit of it was him. But I don't know whether that's politically correct, but hey, he made fun of his fatness, so... Anyway, what else is there to say? If you have not seen this, you really need to do yourself a favour and watch it. It's an absolute gem. And again, very much reflects the strength of the New Zealand film industry.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, where else could a film like this come out of? But we'll get to that in just a second. But when you've got the New Zealand Army in the credits with their logo in amongst all the other supporting influences in it, and yeah, they were making fun of themselves.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
And an important lesson: the 3 things you need to watch out for in the New Zealand wilderness:
yes,
ninjas, dire wolves, and social workers.
and don't get naked.
No.
Oh, that's 4 things.
That's 4 things, and that last one's really applicable anywhere.
That's true. Yes. This is a really hard film to
It is.
say anything about. Other than, again, please do yourself a favour and watch it.
Do you think we might have both put it on our lists because we just wanted to watch it?
Oh, yes. I think so. If you want a relief and escape from the world as it is right now, this has to be it. Definitely hit the spot, and I'm very... that was one thing that I was going to mention, was it does take a special kind of film for me to have tears in my eyes with happiness and enjoyment, but not rolling with laughter at the same time. There were certainly points in this film where there was strong out loud laughter, but I did notice myself tearing up with happiness at certain points. And I think that they were fairly ludicrous points. Great car chase.
Mm-hmm.
And filmed in such a way that it was believable as well. Even though it was a complete contrast of this is ridiculous, but also believable. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any gems of knowledge that you scraped out of the bowels of the internet whilst you were watching?
I just hadn't realised that Rhys Darby was in this as Psycho Sam, who I know from the most recent Jumanji, and...
Because I recognised the voice this time around and couldn't
from
place
Voltron Legendary Defender.
Yes, yeah. And yeah, I've worked backwards from when you said Jumanji and knew exactly who you were talking about there. Yeah, again, a ridiculous character, but also still has that edge of believability that keeps him from being completely over the top, I think.
Someone like that lives in the bush.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this might be a short podcast today, but I don't care.
It was worth it.
Yeah. I'm so glad that came up on the list, and we went for it. That being said, I don't think we have anything for the next segment.
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
And I think if we don't, we might just save one of your precious jingles.
No, I don't think we've got anything.
Okay, so we're going to head straight into the last segment.
Pick a film for next week so we can go to bed. It's your turn.
It is my turn, and this sort of relates back to I don't think that type of film could come out from anywhere else. In a way it could, and we've had this sort of theme going where we were watching Jojo Rabbit, and I said that I thought that, and you agreed with me, that there were certain shots there in that were almost a homage to Wes Anderson. And we seem to be caught in a bit of a loop of coming-of-age type films.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was editing last week's podcast, when I listened back to that section of it felt like certain shots were a homage to Wes Anderson, I thought, I wonder if it's not just us that and of course it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
What is more, the link that a lot of people, or connection a lot of people made, was to a film that I don't believe that you have seen, but have on the list as a film that you want to see, and I have on my list as a film that I want to revisit, and that is Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom. And a lot of people have made the connection or comparison between Jojo Rabbit and Moonrise Kingdom. So I'm going to select that as next week's film that we're going to watch. Have you brought it up?
I have brought it up, yes.
Okay. Thomas has brought it up on the wonderful app My Movies, which keeps track of all the movies on our shelf and includes a plot synopsis.
It does.
After a bit of self-congratulatory, yes. But spit it all at us, if you would, please. Good. So that's what we're watching next. Good.
Set on an island off the coast of New England in the summer of 1965, Moonrise Kingdom tells the story of two 12-year-olds who fall in love, make a secret pact, and run away together into the wilderness. As various authorities try to hunt them down, a violent storm is brewing offshore, and the peaceful island community is turned upside down in more ways than anyone can handle.
I thought there was more to it than that.
There is more to it than that, but it's just a list of people
who
playing
are in it.
roles.
Yes. A lot of the usual suspects as far as a Wes Anderson film is concerned. But it's interesting to note the chase or hunt in this. So there's double themes running through our podcast right at the moment.
But someday we'll get back to random guff.
Yeah, but it was a random one that got us onto this.
Yes,
this loop.
This is true.
So yes, and it'll be your turn next after that. But I'll be interested to. I have only seen Moonrise Kingdom once, and I watched it on my own, and didn't have anyone to bounce off ideas as far as that's concerned, and it was a little whiles back, so I am quite looking forward to watching that, and interested to see your take on it. So, do you have anything else you wish to say to our dear listener before we wrap up?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, so Moonrise Kingdom next week. We hope you can join us, and until then, we'll catch you next time.
Bye. You have been listening to Cellulose Free. Your hosts were Colin, who produces and edits the show, and Thomas, who makes the artwork and music. Cellulose Free is recorded in the Deranged Cat Studios in scenic Tasmania, Australia. We keep track of our extensive physical media collection through My Movies, which we highly recommend. You can find links to that, as well as other places you can find us in the show notes. Cellulose Free is a Hi Hello production.
Oh my goodness.
Where are we at?
Oh, if we drag this out just a little bit longer, it'll be 23 minutes.
Ooh.
Except I've edited out 501 ums and ahs of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe 20 minutes if we're lucky.
Oh, back to the old days.
Yeah, that's right. Gee. I reckon that might be our second shortest episode.
Back to the old days where the aim was 15 minutes.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I could trim it down to 15 minutes.
Which quickly became untenable.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And then the murders began. Okay. Oh.
And then we were up above half an hour on a regular basis.
Yes. Those dreaded ones that I was up till all hours editing and still ending up at 50 minutes or so. Gee, I'm glad those days are gone.
And now you're editing at a more reasonable time.
That's right. Okay, I'm off to edit. Tomorrow.
Yeah. Sleep first.
Yes, ask questions later.
If you remember them. And now, I'm going to the toilet.
Good, I've got that on record as being the case. Can you go for me as well?